What's up, Beastcoast Pokemon? I'm Luke from Celio's Network with my boy Sean from Chaotic Meatball. Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, the brand new way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Online, just released on January 19th, and we are patiently or impatiently awaiting for Pokemon TCG Live, the new way to play Pokemon TCG Online, to come out. So today, Sean, an avid Yu-Gi-Oh! Player, is going to break down Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, the pros and the cons, and we're going to talk about 5 things that we want to see or not see from Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel in Pokemon TCG Live.
Yes, sir. And it was funny because the game was just all of a sudden shadow dropped 4 a.m. this morning on the 19th as we're recording this. And I as soon as I saw it, I'm like, all right, there's a few things here that I'm sure that Pokemon TCG Live could take into account because it's coming out afterwards. We still don't have a release date on that. And because of that, I'm sure they can take a few pointers from Master Duel. As to just let's just jump right into one of our first points here. Uh, I've played the game for about 8 hours now, and one of my favorite things that's come out of it is gameplay incentives for like regular tasks, like normal summoning monsters, special summoning, activating spells and traps. I think that if Pokemon does this in TCG Live, if we can have incentives for in-game currency. Basically, you can earn in-game currency by doing these menial tasks in like ranked duels and solo mode and everything. If we just apply that to knocking out opponents' Pokemon, doing bench damage, activating item cards, supporter cards, stadium cards, I believe that that would probably help in getting players in the door and not having to necessarily spend as much because I know a lot of players might go the free to play route.
Yeah, I think that would be great. Because in current PTCGO, of course, that game's like 12 years old. It's going to be outdated. It's pretty basic and not very good. But PTCG Live has the potential to be great, and this is a really good one to give a gameplay incentive, or how in they would call it in an MMO, a gameplay loop, like reasons to keep doing missions to earn things. And in PTCGO, it's like evolve 6 grass Pokemon. When you're done with that, evolve 6 metal Pokemon. When you're done with that, evolve 6 dark Pokemon. So it's very boring. But if it's like discard 3 energy in a single ranked game, and then win a game without your opponent taking any prizes, or win a game without taking any of your prizes, and do bench damage this many times, like Sean said, like those kinds of things that are more fun, more interactive. They encourage you to try out different decks and different play styles while you're earning currency for doing them. That creates the gameplay incentives and the gameplay loop that creates people wanting to sign on every day to do these things and learning the game and playing the game and eventually becoming a competitive player even.
Right, yeah, because in Pokemon TCG Online, those type specific like the type specific goals would mainly be for cosmetics. It was always for cosmetics, never for like any in-game packs. And you can do cosmetics. Sure, you can do like how Master Duel has different mates for you to have on your board. You can have a different icon of a different monster. You can have sleeves. You can have like a different type of field. I think if we allow those things to be occasional rewards as opposed to being the only reward you can get out of doing these tasks, those are going to get people coming in.
Yeah, I'm all for cosmetics. I'm ready to buy sleeves and play mats and whatever they will let me buy for PTCG Live. I'm down for it. But we do need these missions to be fun, interactive, and give you currency and or packs.
Right. Speaking of currency,
Speaking of currency, the next thing we want to talk about is currency and credits. So in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, it allows you to turn cards into credits that can then be used to create other cards of that rarity. We already know that Pokemon TCG Live is going to allow us to make or craft cards depending on their rarity by pulling extra duplicates of cards. But as far as we know, you will not be allowed to purposefully get rid of cards to make credits for them. You will only get cards when you pull a fifth copy, and then that will turn into credits. In Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, the ratio is dismantle 3 commons to make 1 common, dismantle 3 rares to make 1 rare, and etc. and so on, depending on the rarity. And according to Sean, the free-to-play route will allow you to earn a fair amount of currency, and if you play free-to-play enough, you can build competitive decks without ever putting a dollar into the game.
The way that they use craft points in Master Duel with the because you can get craft points by breaking down certain cards. And while sure, Pokemon TCG Live won't allow you to just break down cards whenever you want to, and it'll only let you break down the ones after the initial 4 copies. Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel allows you to break down whatever you want to. This basically makes it so that cards that are like ultra rares or super rares that you never plan on playing can be broken down into craft points and made into cards that you want to play. Like, for instance, I pulled a Winged Dragon of Ra today, and I was like, dang, I'm never going to play this card because it's booty. So I grounded it down, and I used it as 1/3 of the points that I needed to get one of my, like, hand traps, like Ash Blossom and Joyous Springer, Infinite and Permanent. I think that the both ways are a good idea. Pokemon TCG Live is going to be geared more towards kids, so they don't want them to just mince down their entire collection and be like, "Oh, I wanted that back," because you can't get it back. So the way that they're doing it is completely viable, but I think there should be an option of being able to break down cards that you're never going to end up using. Just garbage common filler to be in the pack for the sake of selling more cards inside of that pack.
Yeah, as someone who has played a lot of online card games, probably just about every mainstream online card game there is, Magic the Gathering Arena doesn't allow you to purposefully disenchant or dismantle the cards. You have to pull the extra copies, and then that turns into wild cards. And so even Magic Arena, a game that is definitely more teenager and up driven than Pokemon is, and also Magic Arena is pretty heavily monetized with microtransactions and everything. Even they don't let you disenchant, while Hearthstone does let you disenchant cards purposefully. But as someone who's played Hearthstone from the beginning, there were times when I disenchanted everything, and then the next set came out, and it made older cards viable again, and then I had to rebuy those cards again. And so that's a feels bad moment that this will circumvent that feels bad moment in Pokemon TCG Live if they don't allow you to disenchant cards. And I think not having feels bad moments is going to be very important for PTCG Live, because the community of PTCGO players are already a little bit pessimistic about the game just because they don't want microtransactions. But I personally think that the free to play route and microtransactions and, the game design, the company actually making money off the game, can all live in harmony together. And so far, PTCG Live does not look like it has predatory monetization. So we'll hope that it continues like that. But personally, I think it's fine that you can't dismantle cards by choice in Pokemon, but I also wouldn't hate it if you could. So next we want to talk about that the visuals of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel are really nice and make the game fun and easy to understand for casual viewers. And that's important if we want people to be watching streams and videos and jumping
Mhm.
into the game and enjoying it the first time.
Basically, it depicts card information that isn't doesn't look clunky and lets the players that are playing the game quickly read the card and be like, okay, this is what this does, while also giving viewers on, say, a YouTube video or a Twitch stream time to look at it and be like, oh, even though they might not play the game, they can read the card and have at least a bit of understanding as to how it works. One of the things I'd like to point out about it is how chain links are represented in Master Duel. Chain links are a little bit of a complicated thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Because they resolve backwards. Showing how an effect that is Chain Link 2 negates Chain Link 1 is shown off by, like, graying out one of the cards and then it, like, blows up and goes to the graveyard. I think seeing more of that sort of thing in TCG Live is going to be important because, I mean, eh, Luke, you can talk about some of the visuals of TCG Online were lacking for people that were like looking at it as a stream and they're like, this isn't really too engaging?
Just watching Meatball play Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel a bit, I have played maybe 2 pickup games of Yu-Gi-Oh! In my entire life, with friends who just had a deck and was like, "Hey, let's play this." I'm not a big Yu-Gi-Oh! Fan, but I could watch Sean play Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, and I roughly knew what was going on. I could see who was losing life points, whose cards were being removed. Even when Sean played a card or his opponent played a card, the card then came up on the side of the screen maximized, and you could clearly read the text. Things like that would be great to see in Pokemon TCG Live. PTCGO has some pretty basic visuals, you know, when you attack, the card moves and there's a boom and the damage
Hmm.
happens. But I would like to see things like when you play Ultra Ball, like it shows like let's say you play Ultra Ball down, Ultra Ball pops up to the side of the screen and then it shows the 2 cards that the opponent chose to discard to use that Ultra Ball instead of just everything flying into the discard pile. We want streams and YouTube videos to be enticing to the viewer rather than it being very boring. That could also mean a little bit more of a fast pace of the actions happening. Just everything being depicted nicely and visually appealing is what we really want.
There's already such a big divide between players of the Pokemon TCG and collectors of the Pokemon TCG. So, to get more people on both sides of that spectrum, I think making sure we have improved visuals and expressly showing how the game is flowing to new viewers is going to be the most important thing.
Yeah, so for the players and not the viewers, a nice deck list display would be great because right now it's
Mhm.
clunky to view your deck list in PTCGO. Like, you can't even choose to show all cards of the deck list on the screen if you have too many different copies of cards. Like, you'll have to scroll down and like take 2 screenshots.
Yeah,
Like, there
like
should definitely be a way to
this is
save.
stuff outside. This is stuff outside of like the actual games themselves. But yeah, definitely, things like even outside of the game need to be taken care of, like the deck list. Was there anything else that you thought was probably important to see outside of the games themselves?
Yeah, so we want to see a nice way to view the store and the potential contents of packs. Currently PTCG Live is planned to release with only standard format, but once they release expanded format and others, we would want to see like the products listed by their category, so we don't have new players go buy packs with real life money or currency and then find out I can't even use these cards in standard format. So we'd like to see that to help players and also just have the store full of different categories for people to either spend their real money or online currency on. So next is one that I'm very passionate about, and that's the ranking system and the ranked rewards of the game. Pokemon TCG Online does not have a ranked system. It's one of the only online games I've ever seen without a ranked mode or a ranking system, and it's so important to have that competitive drive and that ambition to play for many players. Even casual players or players who consider themselves casual will partake in ranked playlists of games for the rewards or just for the glory or to have competitive opponents. So seeing things like instant rewards after winning your game and ranking up in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel was great. And also I would like to see a monthly or quarterly reward based on how you ended your rank for the period. And also an in-client ranked leaderboard like Legends of Runeterra has. A side note would be awesome to see in both Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon. I think it's just so clean to be able to go on a leaderboard and see this is how people are doing without going to a third-party app or installing an overlay or something. Like just having all that stuff within the game would be great. But Yu-Gi-Oh's ranked rewards look really good to me from a glance, because you not only get rewards based on your rank overall, but as you win and play individual ranked games, you get rewards.
Yeah, so basically the way that TCG Online kind of worked it was when you went to like competitive games like versus mode, the only thing that was incentivizing you to continue playing that mode was there was a little ladder. They would have like 1, 2, and 3-star rewards, and you'd get points for each victory you got, and you'd get more and more based on your win streak. But those were always locked rewards. You couldn't trade them, you couldn't do much with them, and they were usually older packs and kind of irrelevant cards that were on there. Sometimes they were great, but other times, most of the time, they were kind of bad. If we had more like small rewards, but you always got them like once you won or even lost, like every game you would get like a tiny bit of what you would get from winning. It would be great to see for incentivizing players to continue through TCG Live. And we need any semblance of ranking system. I mean, I don't need an individually numbered leaderboard. That would be great. But something like rookie, bronze, silver, gold, and having like 5 ranks in each one, that's kind of basic what you would see in like MOBAs, in different trading card games online. I mean, we're at least getting some form of ranked system, but the more detail we have, the better. All right, so the last point that I want to touch on for the top 5 things that we need to take away from Master Duel for TCG Live is player profiles. One of the coolest things that I experienced with Master Duel is that there are keywords that you can put in your profile, up to 4 different keywords that kind of describe yourself. There's stuff like fan of the anime. So if you've like watched Duel Monsters GX, 5Ds, Zexal, all of those, you could show that that's how you got into the card game. There was Links player, which is basically players coming over to the advanced format through Duel Links. Casual, new duelists that are just picking up the game for the first time, and returning duelists. I think that this would be a great way to do and represent players in the Pokemon TCG Live. Like you could have tags like collector or like casual player and all of these different things.
Mhm.
And you can even have tags for like the video games or the anime or like Unite. There are many different ways to take this.
So I was blown away by this idea because I think it's so simple yet so awesome for community building and creating relationships within the game. And even if you don't friend that person and, become lifelong Yu-Gi-Oh battling buddies with them, I think it's cool to know something about the person you're battling. And I would love to see that in Pokemon. It could even be connected to the Pokemon trainer accounts on Pokemon.com, because that's how your
Mhm.
Pokemon TCGO and TCG Live and your VGC records and all your whole history of Pokemon competitive play, that's how it's all connected to the Pokemon website. And we could see Pokemon specific tags like Gen 1 fan, Bidoof Buddy, Tryhard Trainer, things that are specific to Pokemon, while also using some of those keywords that Sean mentioned, like beginner, returning player, casual player, competitive player, and adding some of those things and customizing your profile. Just things to connect fans to the game and build that connection to the game and also the community. And if you could be able to share your profile or see your opponent's profile, or if there's a ranking leaderboard and you can see, oh wow, this person was this person started playing in Gen 1, they got diamond rank in season 1 of the PTCG Live, their favorite Pokemon's Charizard. Like, those kinds of things would be so incredibly cool, and I don't think they sound hard to do either, but I think the payoff could be spectacular for having those kinds of things in Pokemon TCG Live, and I was excited to see it in Yu-Gi-Oh.
It's actually kind of funny you touched on the connecting to the Pokemon trainer account, because Master Duel does the same thing with your Konami ID, because that's how you register for locals, regionals, and any like sanctioned Konami event. So it's all linked together, and that's how they're going to be running official events through Master Duel. And that kind of extends to if they end up doing that with TCG Live, they should be able to run official like locals through TCG Live, or locals, or a league challenge, a league cup, of regionals, even through the online method. Would have been nice to have at the beginning of COVID, but moving on from that, there's also a few other things with the profiles that are pretty neat. You actually have the choice of your player icon. So you can use different monsters. Like for me, I'm using Time Thief Redoer. I changed it from Rescue Rabbit. You can do the same thing with Pokemon and just have like different final evolutions, or like some of the like most known basic Pokemon like Pikachu, and then you can use stuff like Charizard, or like legendaries like Dialga, Palkia, Zacian, Zamazenta, any of these things, and just make them purchasable through like a small amount of gems, or whatever ends up being the currency for TCG Live. The same thing with like fields, customizing your field and how that looks. Master Duel has stuff like the volcano background or the ritual cage. You could do the same thing by giving it like giving Pokemon TCG Live like a savannah look, or like a quarry look, or something like that, or inside of the gym, and you could buy that for like a little higher price of gems. And all of this is just able to give the developers more incentive to keep developing these things. And overall, it just means the game's gonna keep going and they keep making money off of it, so they keep supporting it. So that's really all we want, is our card games to be supported so that we can play them, even through not still having IRL events, like big IRL events still.
I hope this, the release of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel being before the release of PTCG Live, even if it can't influence the first things we see at the initial release of
Mhm.
PTCG Live, I just hope the developers take a look at this. I'm sure the developers have looked at all the other existing online games, but this one being released so closely, uh, hypothetically, to PTCG Live, could definitely show the developers what other companies are doing with their online games. So I do hope they look at it and take some of the good and leave out some of the bad if they think there's any. But with all that out of the way, I'd like to thank Sean for bringing his Yu-Gi-Oh expertise in for this video and allowing me to give some of my Pokemon background to influence my discussion on this, and talk about the 5 things we wanted to see or not see from Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel into Pokemon TCG Live, and let us know down below what you want to see in Pokemon TCG Live, and if you're a Yu-Gi-Oh! Player yourself, what you think of Master Duel so far. With all that out of the way, be sure to subscribe to Beastcoast Pokemon here, and mine and Sean's individual channels. They'll be in the description down below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.